Secretary Pete Buttigieg responding now to J.D. Vance's resurrected claim that the problems of the world are with childless cat people.
There's actually this answer that J.D. Vance gave a few years ago, and he name dropped you in it about people who don't have children working in the government. This is what he said.
It's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
Now, I should note you have two children. They were born before Pete gave that answer. Harris is also a stepmom to children as well. But what's your response to that?
The really sad thing is he said that after Chasten and I had been through a fairly heartbreaking setback in our adoption journey. He couldn't have known that, but maybe that's why you shouldn't be talking about other people's children. And it's not about his kids or my kids or the vice president's family. It's about your family, people's families whose well-being will depend on whether we go into a future led by somebody like Kamala Harris, who is focused on expanding the prosperity, the freedom, the well-being of our families. And by the way, especially if you have kids and you're worried about climate, choosing between a party that has a plan on climate that creates jobs and a party that still calls it a hoax, even as we went through the hottest day in world history. Or do you want your children to grow up in a country defined by a return to the chaos and recrimination and cruelty that was the hallmark of the Trump era?
Boy, Pat Kreitlow, I know he's not on the short list, but he'd make a damn good vice president.
Wouldn't he, though? He really would. Look, the one thing that Secretary Buttigieg points out, so well is that whether you have children or not, you can be concerned about all of our children and the future of those children. And that is what he and other Democrats have. Whereas J.D. Vance represents basically the side that couldn't give a crap about kids because their economy is based on extraction and consumption. It's all about instant gratification. Let's drill, baby, drill, frack, baby, frack, whatever the cost might be. In a whole host of areas, as opposed to making those investments in childcare, in family leave, in health care. That's the group that's caring about kids, whether they have kids or not. To pick on somebody based on their status, on their personal status, like I said, just demonstrates a personal low that, kind of underlines their lack of any governing philosophy.
But don't you love, one of the many things I love about Secretary Pete Buttigieg is he never lets it get too personal, and he immediately turns around from, this isn't about me, this is about your kids. This is about, other people. This is about, it's not just an attack on me. This is an attack on fellow Americans. I love his ability to turn that on a dime like that.
It's what this country needs more than ever is people who don't have to turn everything into all-star wrestling, that right away have to take everything personally and be confrontational, but to actually answer a serious, even if it's not a serious question, to address it in a serious manner on its merits and what it means for people other than themselves, something Donald Trump and clearly J.D. Vance will never understand.